Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have something a little bit different to share with you, but let's jump right in. So if you've been following along with me while I've been kind of working through this really fun junk journal, you know that this is kind of, I'm going to call it my safe space, even though all of my creations are a safe space. I only mean in this, I don't have to worry about everything being straight and worry about everything being perfect and worrying about this for me is a very good expression of creativity and just it gives me a chance to try out different ideas, and some of them work out really well and some of them don't really come together that great, but it's just kind of a freeing creative experience for me, and that's how I'm treating my junk journal. And I like to share that with you guys, though they're not my most popular videos. I like to share it with you because I hope that creativity and crafting for you is also a very, freeing experience. And so, sometimes I stumble and sometimes I make beautiful projects, and it's not always gold. So this journal is just a really, really fun, safe space for me to do anything I want in it. And this page, though I've jumped way into my journal for this page specifically because I really wanted that craft background, but I needed the page to be small enough that I could make my idea happen. And you saw me cut off a chunk of the end of the bag. So this is like a lunch bag that I've stitched into the center of one of my signatures, or into one of my signatures. And I cut a chunk off, as you saw there. Nothing's measured, nothing, that's kind of the fun of this. I just do whatever the heck feels good at the time, and I have a lot of fun with it. So I chopped off the end of that and I saved it. It'll be a pocket or something somewhere else. And then I blended on 3 colors of oxide ink. I have Victorian Velvet, Tumbled Glass, and Bundled Sage. And it's just because I thought that they would be a lot of fun on this craft bag. I love how they look. They're super pretty. I mean, oxide inks, you guys know if you've been with me for a hot minute, that oxide inks are one of my favorite products on the market. I love them. There's so many techniques you can do with them. They stamp beautifully. They blend beautifully. You can add water. They're just so great for techniques. So they're one of my favorite things ever. And then I'm just adding some texture. So I blended on my colors. They're not perfect. They don't need to be. And then I squished the bag to give it some texture, because I can't run through an embossing folder or anything like that. I'd have to adhere something on top of it, and I don't want to do that. So I just crumpled it up a few times and then kind of smoothed it out a bit to have that really fun texture. And then I added some perfect pearls on top, because why not add some shimmer? And then I recently found this at my local crafty store, and it's a 49th and Market Vintage Artistry Tranquility Laser Cut Elements. That's quite the thing there, but you can see here that it has just these beautiful, fun elements. And I picked out all of the butterflies. So this is a very simple design. I didn't have to stamp anything. I'm choosing to fussy cut, but you wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. So I popped out all of the butterfly dies in this set, and I think there's 96 elements in it. You can see some of these really beautiful elements. We'll have to bring them into something else later, because this is a really fun set of ephemera pieces, but I'm only going to take out all of the butterflies from this. I'm also going to take a sentiment. I couldn't decide which one I wanted, so I didn't do it here when I was popping these other elements out. But you will see later I'm going to bring in a sentiment as well, just because I thought it was kind of fitting for what I was doing with this page. And I had this idea that I wanted to have a swarm of butterflies. That was kind of the thought. I wanted to have this huge swarm of butterflies. And then I wanted to be able to hang them off the page with acetate. So this is kind of how this idea came together to go in my journal, because generally if I have ideas but I'm not really sure how they're going to work, I try to bring them into my journal because it's my playing space, and then that's how I make them work and happen. So here I have the Stamperia Welcome Home collectibles. So these are these elements that you would cut out yourself. I choose to fuzzy cut things. Doesn't bother me whatsoever, because it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to leave a little border around this because I'm too lazy to cut up to the edge, and I wanted to leave the antenna on the butterfly. So that's what I'm doing here. But honestly, I know some people don't enjoy fussy cutting, and I know if it's for a various amount of reasons. I know some people can't, for hand strength and those kind of purposes. And I totally don't do it if you don't enjoy it. That it just is silly to do something you don't enjoy when it's, a crafty thing, because it should be fun. But I don't mind fussy cutting at all. I like to buy fussy cut pads because they're usually fairly cheap, or inexpensive. They're not cheap. Nothing in the crafting industry is cheap, but they're fairly inexpensive. And I like to sit on the couch beside my husband, and I just trim them out while we're, watching shows or whatever we're doing in the evening time. And then I like to put them in my pen pal pockets and stuff like that. So I tend to collect these cutout pop-out pads. But if you didn't like to fussy cut, you don't have to. There's so many of these on the market that you wouldn't need to fussy cut these. I don't mind it, so I do it. But so my idea was that I really, really wanted to have this swarm of butterflies. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to adhere these butterflies from these two different sets. Luckily, they're very similar in coloring. The ones from the 49th and Market set are a bit more muted, but they're all of the same color family, really. So I thought that they looked really cool together. And it really let me use products that I've been kind of staring at for a while and do something that I thought was really pretty with them. And you guys know that I love butterflies. Like anything that I can adhere butterflies to or bring butterflies in, or I love butterflies. They're so dang pretty and they always make me smile, and I can't get enough. So I'm going to adhere all those butterflies. You see, I kind of laid them out going along with the color blending that I have on that craft bag there. And you can see that I have 3 of them hanging off. You know that I like uneven numbers. That's just, it's easier on the eye to create a nice adhesive. Oh boy. I'm sorry, guys. I worked all day today. I'm tired when I record this voiceover, so I'm not always as articulate as I sometimes am. But I'm leaving 3 hanging off that I'm going to bring in pieces of acetate for to have them hanging out of the bag so that they can be a part of the page when I flip it, but they are still with the page, so I don't have any issues like in the journal itself. So this is where I'm going to add that sentiment. So I didn't cut it out. I popped it out of the 49th and Market set, and it says get lost in the moment. And I just thought that was super fitting for this. If you guys watched any of my other junk journaling videos, especially the first couple, I kind of, broke down and explained what it meant to me and what kind of a space I wanted it to be. And I got some really, really kind comments from you guys because you guys are always so lovely. And this is just a really fun experimental space for me. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I kind of, end up keep going back. But there, so you see me cut a few strips of acetate. And this is where I'm going to use some small pieces of double-sided tape to adhere my butterflies to the acetate. And then I'm going to use the same double-sided tape to adhere it to the bag. So the ones that are on the bottom, I'm going to have 2 on the bottom, the larger pink one and the smaller blue one are going to go on the bottom of the bag, and you're going to see me adhere those straight into the bag. And now the bag can still be used for something. You can still use it as a pocket. You can slip a tag in there. You can, like whatever you want to do with it. And in my case, I'm sure I'll add something pretty in there. But I wanted these to be with the bag, but still hanging out. So it just kind of was a fun experimental element. And I think it turned out quite pretty, though I am finding I'm struggling a little bit to take good pictures of my journal. Like I kind of struggle to get good imagery of it, to do like the close-up pictures and the thumbnail. So hopefully you get a feel for how pretty this is. But sadly, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with the photography of the journal to kind of capture how pretty that this is. Because this one turned out, again, I'm kind of biased. It's my own work, although there are times that I'm not a huge fan of my own work. But as a general rule, I'm pretty happy with the things that I create. And I'm pretty honest with you guys if I'm struggling with something that I've created as well. But I do think this turned out really pretty, especially when I go and add those pearlescent vellum butterflies into this too, because of course you can't have enough butterflies. Like it's just not physically possible. But you can see here I really wanted this large butterfly to be at the edge of the page. Like I wanted it to just be kind of hanging out there, so when you flip the page it goes with the bag, but it's its own floating element, and the acetate just kind of holds it there, so it moves around a little bit, but it still looks really pretty. So I used the double-sided tape and kind of lined up where I wanted it to be, and then I adhered it down in the inside of the bag. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for this blue one. And now I do kind of wish I had the butterfly facing the other direction. I wasn't thinking when I put the double-sided tape on it. It's not a big deal. I mean, it just looks like he's going in his own direction, and that's perfectly okay. But I should have kind of aimed that butterfly to be going the same way as everybody else. But maybe he walks to the beat of his own drum, so who knows. And then this little green butterfly I'm going to put up at the top here. He's also going to stick out, though minusculely, because now we're losing room with where he can sit, because I don't want him to hang outside of the journal. I just want them to hang outside of their page. So though I could have maybe put them up a little bit more, I kind of chose to keep them closer just in case. I don't want them to rip off. So then I ran through my flickering butterflies. This is the Simon Says Stamp flickering butterflies die, and it cuts out all these beautiful little butterflies, and I am going to adhere them all across the page. Again, uneven numbers. I had to go in and add one more at the very bottom. You guys will see it in the picture because I have to have uneven numbers because I just prefer that look. And then these just add, you can see that subtle shimmer and shine to the page because I think that that's just really pretty. And I mean, you could keep going from here. Like if you were having a blast, I mean, sadly I had to go to work, so I had to be a little bit, more conscious of my time. But when I'm on days off and I'm crafting, I don't even think about it. But you could have gone in with like a white gel pen and added some little doodles on the butterfly wings, and there's other things you could do here if you wanted to kind of keep going and keep experimenting. But I did stop after this point and just kind of finished up what I thought it should look like. And I'm in love with it. I think that it's a really fun page. And I did save some butterflies. You can see them up in the corner there, the right-hand corner beside my blending tool that's kind of sticking out. I saved a couple of butterflies to put them on the other side when I go and add like a little journaling card or whatever I decide to add to this page on the back side. But I'm going to hold it up here so you can kind of check it out in all of its glory. I really like it. I mean, some things are crooked, some things are a little off, some things are a little different, and I love it. It's just a really fun expression of a different type of creativity than my cards tend to be. So I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys enjoyed it and, maybe learned something, I don't know, or thought of something a little bit different, or you're going to try a similar page or make a card maybe similar to this with just a ton of beautiful butterflies. Whatever, I hope it inspired you in some facet, because I that's my whole purpose of making videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd love it if you'd leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Thank you so much, guys, and I cannot wait to see you again. See you soon. Bye-bye.